All right, we're live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We have such an interesting and unique guest today. Bonita Joy is all about humor, and she's going to tell us about using humor in business, which so many of us end up with our business being kind of dry. We're afraid to insert that personality. So I'm very
There's no
excited.
place in business for humor. Graham, what? You're eavesdropping. I know, and I'm tired of this. There's no place for it. You won't be taken seriously. Now, Gramps, this is Gramps, everyone. Uh, don't
Is that
listen.
the old school thought I can see? Yes.
Yeah. The right school side.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
classic.
that's a myth that some people have that you shouldn't use humor in business. I know when I was a young lawyer starting my practice in my 20s, you are a liar, not a liar, a lawyer. What's the difference? Gramps. But when I was starting my practice, I thought, oh, I won't be taken seriously if I'm known as like the puppet lady or something. So I
Yeah,
kind of
especially as a lawyer. Yeah.
yeah. So I kind of backburnered that. But I'm here to tell people to learn from my mistake because I would have stood out a lot more if I had used humor. And even in my marketing, there was a realtor in our town who ran ads in the newspaper. I like newspapers. Yeah. Not that online stuff. Yeah. And he had these funny ads that he ran, and I read them just to see what he came up with. Yeah, I don't like those airlines where they tell silly jokes. Oh, during the oxygen mask announcement? Yeah. Research shows that people listen more if they think they might hear a joke or hear a silly song or a joke.
It
Really?
reminds me of the Geico commercials where for years I've been like, they don't tell me anything about what the product is. They just say you might save money. You also might not, but they're so funny. They've been incredibly successful because people just love watching them.
And people in Gramps' generation often remember Jimmy Nelson. Oh, yeah, I know him. He was a ventriloquist who was a spokesperson for Nestle's Quick. And he had Furful the dog. These TV ads went on for years with Furful the dog singing about NESTLES. Yeah, I remember that. That's different. Why is it different? I don't know, because I'm used to it.
An honest answer.
It was a man, Gramps, and the dog. Yeah, okay.
Can't go wrong with a dog.
Yeah, Nan's best friend. All right, Gramps. Well, I think we could use a little alone time here, Carolyn and I. I know, I get the hint. Okay. Bye, bye. Yeah, I mean, humor helps people with retention, such as
Mhm.
that.
And you said
Doing
standing out too. Standing out in an oversaturated or crowded marketplace is something that a lot of people need help with.
yes. No, if you take a walk in the park and you run into someone with a cute little puppy dog and you stop, or a cute baby, and you kind of goo. Yeah, it's the same idea to stop the scroll on internet marketing, or even in your video training courses. If you have some humor, having a puppet pop up, that's my favorite prop, I'll say. But we don't want to call them pops in front of them because they are not considering themselves in that manner. But in fact, my friend Ruby here, yes, I'm not a prop. Yeah. Oh, what are you? A living doll. You like my pigtails? Oh, I'm killing it. Yeah,
Very
Ruby.
cute, very Pippi Longstocking, sticking straight out.
Oh yeah. I remember that book. I had those books in grade school. Pippi Longstocking. I don't have stockings on though. You don't? No, I'm on this virtual thing, whatever it is, and you don't see my legs. or my feet.
That's why we're
Unless,
all wearing pajama pants.
unless I put them in my mouth. Oh, Ruby. They smell funny. Yeah. But the thing is, you can actually convey, we're having fun here. Yeah. But you can actually convey serious messages with that, or get people to listen more to serious messages, such as that oxygen mask announcement. And
Mm.
also, have you heard of Sarah Blakely and Spanx? As in getting spanked? No, no, Spanx is the name of her company. Oh, she was trying to get in with retail buyers when she started out. Wasn't having much success, but she wanted to get her products in stores. So she went out, bought some shoes, took one shoe out of each shoe box, wrote a little note that said, I'm trying to get my foot in the door, sent it off, and she ended up with an appointment with Neiman Marcus. The rest is history.
Wow.
They carry her products, and she's got a very successful company.
Oh my gosh, that's so cheesy. I wouldn't have thought to do something like that.
But it makes it stand out. Or when you're driving down the road and you see those billboards with a funny saying, or they switch the letters out. Oh yeah,
And I
it's
think it also it builds some trust. It makes you seem more human and approachable and somebody that, if I'm looking at a humorous ad of yours, then I'm like, oh, like I feel a connection, like we understand each other.
yeah, and I like it when people see me as more human. Oh, yeah, I bet you do, Ruby. It does. Humor helps people like you, it helps them relate to you. It makes you it does make you more human. I was going through the courthouse one time when after they put in security, the metal detector like at the airport, they had three uniformed officers standing there. I said, do we really as taxpayers need to spend this much money for three of you? And this guy, Randy, a uniformed middle aged officer, turned to me and said, it takes three of us to corral you, Benita. Ah, I bet you laughed. I did laugh. I looked at Randy and I said, I talk about humor. Do they train you to use humor in your law enforcement training? He said he never received training, but those who are able to naturally use it get good results. I said, tell me about it. And he said, well, if you've got a suspect or you stop somebody at a traffic stop or you're interviewing a suspect, if you can use humor, it helps break the ice. Instead of
Yeah,
break
kind
the
of
ice,
changes.
they open up, they relax, they trust you more, they see you as another person, and they tell you more. Ah, be careful of funny police officers. But think about that. I mean, that's a lot right there. Break the ice with people, and they open up and tell you more.
Yeah.
Who needs a lie detector if you have humor?
So how does one develop their sense of humor, especially in an online business sense?
It's a mindset. We hear a lot about mindset in sales and marketing and just in
Mhm.
approaching your business and having a, the ability to think positive, have a big picture, a vision. But it's a humorous mindset. It's developing a humorous mindset. I have a humorous bone. Does that count? Well, yeah, if you could tickle the funny bone of others. So, how do you do that? I say first set the intention that you want to use humor in your business. I mean, you may have never thought about it, and you may have just out of habit been totally serious in your business. But now that we're talking about it, it may occur to you to make a choice about it. I like choices. Yeah. If you decide you want to use humor, you'll start noticing it more. I mean, think about if you're thinking about getting a green Prius, you're going to start suddenly seeing green Priuses on the road. Well, I could use one of those. You don't have a license yet, Ruby. Oh.
Right.
And if you decide you want to use humor in business, start noticing other ways that people are using humor in business. Maybe your chiropractor has a bulletin board inside which has a place to put little cartoons and memes up, and your the patients may enjoy noticing those and cutting them out.
Hmm.
I mean, or even online, if not just in the regular newspaper if they don't get a print paper. Yeah,
Yeah, if you see a meme online that you think is funny, you could share that on your business page. Give a little personality, give a little bit of what represents you and your humor.
if you have meetings in person or online, you could have a joke master designated for each meeting. You could open the meeting with a joke just to kind of help set that pace and break the ice. Some people end the meeting with a joke. You could open and end it. That doesn't mean your whole meeting is going to be a series of jokes, but it just to kind of get people relaxed and open up, like that police officer said.
Mm.
I
Works
don't.
on my little kids too. When we're
Yeah,
struggling
meetings
to
are boring. Oh,
get when we're struggling to get dressed in the morning, if I can just kind of even just make a little funny face, it really relaxes the tension of like we gotta get somewhere with my 5-year-old.
oh, I like that using the humor with your kids in the morning. Yes, that's great, Carolyn. And there's something where you can start observing. I actually created a little humor journal which has 10 humor writing prompts to notice and recognize some funny things that happen in your life, because authentic humor can be some of the best. I mean, that's actually often better than a joke from a joke book or online. Yeah,
Mm.
because truth is funnier than anything you can make up. That's often true. There is a saying in comedy about that. The truth is funnier than something you can make up. But if you
Mm.
see something funny, or if your kids say something funny, just notice what makes you smile, even if it's not an out loud ha ha, but an inner smile, a tickle. Notice what other people react to and note that. And then if you write that down, keep a log of it. A log, a real log, like a tree. No, no, no. A record or a journal. Oh, okay. Then when you're going to present something to tell, give a speech or make a marketing video, you can look through your inventory and see what is it that you have that might relate to that particular point you want to make. I mean, it's best if your humor can relate to the point in your talk.
And
Yeah,
you have a journal like that, right? Is there a link that we can go to
yes.
to download
Yes,
that?
there is. It's joy.funandfunnier.com.
Funandfunnier.com.
Joy.funandfunnier.com. Yeah,
Joy.
joy.funandfunnier.com.
Excellent.
And I don't know if we can put that in the chat, but it has 10 writing prompts. It'd be https dot slash slash
Give it.
joy.funandfunnier.com. Isn't Joy your middle name? Yes, it is my middle name. Wow, you're lucky. Yes, yes. That's
It
part
was
of my
meant to be.
yes, part of my purpose. I gotta go get that humor journal right now. Okay, okay, Ruby, you can go do that. And
What are some other ways that people work with you?
I can work with people to help put humor into their talks, their presentations, if they're preparing a talk for something, or a marketing video. I actually can have my puppets appear. And I've had some people, uh, like an internet marketer a couple weeks ago, asked me to do a little banter with him. He had 75,000 people registered. Not that many people showed up, of course, but when he was talking about upselling the free registration on the 3-day virtual summit to a VIP, he wanted one of my puppets to pop up and kind of banter with him. So we did that. I had two of them. And for example, he said, "What do you think about the gold package?" And they're like, "Oh, I like shiny objects." And no, no, not that kind of gold. It was just fun. And about a half hour later, Les Brown spoke. And at the end of the day, Tony Robbins spoke. So this was just
All
week
right.
before last. The idea was to have fun. He was very comfortable. This internet marketer was extremely comfortable doing sales and sales conversations. In fact, he teaches a class. He has a recorded presentation on having sales conversations. So it wasn't that he was uncomfortable. It's just he wanted to make it a little fun. And he'd seen me with puppets. So that's another way too. You
That
could
is
have
cool.
puppets in your video training course, whether you get your own, even if you don't do ventriloquism, puppets could talk. There's one internet marketer who used a sock. He didn't even do ventriloquism. He just had the sock on his videos.
It sounds pretty funny.
Well, the thing is, puppets are truth tellers, and they can say things that people can't get by with sometimes. And,
Yes.
and so if you have like little alter ego, then they can say all kinds of things. Oh, yeah, I like that part. Oh, who are you? Sammy. Oh, Sammy. I want to learn about using humor in my talks. What kind of talks are you giving? Oh, I'm going to run for president. Sammy, you can't do that. Why not? You're just a puppet. And your point is, oh, I have orange hair. Oh, I see. Well, Sammy, just listen in, because the first thing is to set that attention. And then the second thing is to start observing humor in your environment, make a note of it. A third tip is to immerse yourself in it. Like a bathtub of humor? I don't know if there's a bathtub of humor.
Sounds
Oh,
perfect.
yeah. How do you do that? Well, what you do is watch videos. There's a lot of free comedy videos on YouTube. There's improv shows, comedy shows. There's all kinds of ways. Hang out with funny people, take improv classes. Like, I love improvisation. And things are starting to go live again. Oh, I like that because I like being live.
I feel like there's a gap that we didn't talk about. How did you go from being a lawyer who needed to infuse more personality into their marketing to somebody who does ventriloquism? Like, that's
Not everybody wants to know that. Yeah, that's a common question. Actually, I was a ventriloquist before I was a lawyer.
oh.
Yeah? Yeah. I checked out a book on ventriloquism from the library by Paul Winchell when I was 16. And I spent hours in front of the mirror practicing while other kids were out playing softball and whatever. Wow. Yeah. I I what made you think to even do that? Because my cousin, Clinton Detweiler, performed at a family reunion on my mother's side when I was 5 or so. I knew that his little doll, Woody, wasn't real. At least I thought he wasn't, but he sure seemed real. I watched Clinton carry Woody up front, put Woody in his lap, start talking to him. This grown man, he was older than I, was a young man and was getting people to laugh by talking to this doll. And I'm like, what is that? What's going on? I was so intrigued, and that memory stayed with me for years. Oh, why didn't you do it sooner? Well, my father was a Mennonite minister, and his sister thought that ventriloquism was of the devil. Oh no, it's
Yikes.
a true nature. Yes, humor. A lot of spiritual teachers have humor. A lot of ministers in their Sunday sermons get people to listen and remember what they're talking about by telling a funny story to make a point. I mean, I know a woman who teaches ministerial students who asked me if I would come to a class to help them think about using humor in their talks.
Yeah, because sermons have a reputation for like, oh, that's boring and long, and who wants to listen to it? But humor
Yeah,
says that. Yeah.
there's a woman who's done a lot of speaking. She's written a book about speaking, even. At one time, she was arriving at a hotel to give a speech. As she stepped out of the taxi, her underwear fell onto the ground. Really? Really? Yeah. So she had a split second to make. I mean, that could happen if you're releasing weight, you're wearing a skirt, and oh, wow, that's embarrassing. Yeah, yeah. So she had a decision to make. Does she reach down, pick it up, or does she step over it? She decided to step over it. Then she incorporated that story into some of her talks. I wouldn't tell anyone. Oh, well, people always laugh when she tells that. And she uses it to say, you have these decisions in life where you can stop and try to fix where you're at and focus on that, or you can move forward and keep going. Uses it. That's an example of how to use a point to make a point with something that happens. I
I think
don't know.
actually, when you have an embarrassing story, it can actually be really healing to share it a lot, and it connects you with people because we all have those embarrassing stories that we're hiding and pushing down and being ashamed of. And when it can be out in the open, then there's just, you can laugh about it together.
Right, right. And there's a certain vulnerability, like if you listen to Brene Brown, I mean, there's a way that vulnerability can help you connect with people,
Yeah.
something to relate to. Think about that. Humor can be used by a professional keynote speaker, it can be used by ministers, police officers, just all kinds of ways.
And I'd
What
much
about
rather see I'd much rather see a speech open with a joke than open with a the dictionary defines this word as.
right, right. And at the same time, if it's not just a joke from a joke book, but something that, or if it is, that you can then segue into some point you want to make. Like I have a little talk I do with Ruby, who was here earlier, about holding the hecklers in your head. And I tell her there's a 3 R's to work with that. And she's like, oh, reading, writing, arithmetic, that kind of thing. And it just have a little fun with it, you know. Oh, this is all very, very exciting. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm going to run. You're running. Yes. For election. Well, what? Yeah, I'm running.
All right.
But I guess I got to get kale tactic. Oh, wait a minute. That's, never mind, Sammy. That's a different pink stuff. That's a different. Oh, that's embarrassing. I'm not going to talk about that. But what's a way you, as a viewer, can use humor in your business? Just while we're talking right now, and as you watch the replay of this or watch it live, perhaps you can put in the comments or the chat or whatever, if you're on a Facebook Live, a way that you have used humor or a way that you could use humor. I've had people tell me, I just never thought about it. But after I heard you talk, now I'm thinking about it and I'm starting to notice things. I mean, it's just that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
there actually aren't that many people talking about using in humor in business that I've run across for
Yeah,
things.
especially not explicitly. I mean, I tell people a lot that their personality needs to shine in their marketing. Um, right now, authenticity, vulnerability, and personality are huge components of standing out online. And there are a lot of people, as we talked about in the beginning, who have an older school mindset of it has to be professional, it has to be dry, you can't show yourself in it. And people are not responding to that anymore. The younger generations want to see your personality. But I did not think about it in terms of humor. So that does make a lot of sense. It fits together.
Mm-hmm. And another tip is to recognize your own style of humor. If you aren't aware of it right now, pay attention. I mean, it might be that you're self deprecating. That's a big word. Yeah. Or you have dry humor, corny, punny humor, whatever it is, just to recognize it and to see what feels authentic to you. But
Mhm.
experiment. The other thing is just experiment. It may not feel perfect to you at first, but when you experiment, whether it's just telling stories to friends and seeing what they react to, and then incorporating them into your talk or presentation, then you can kind of, see what works. Stand up comedians sometimes go to comedy clubs, even well known ones go to lesser known clubs just to try out their material. In
Mm.
fact, I saw a comedian several nights ago who said, I'm going to make a note during the show of what works and of lines that I think of. And periodically she went over, picked up a pen, had a tablet of paper, and made a note. And it was actually kind of funny. I mean, people reacted to it because it's not something that you see most comedians do. And I
Yeah.
know another one, a professional comedian who tapes video records all of her shows because sometimes the best lines come out of your mouth just ad lib. I find that to be true.
I was just talking to a coach who said the same thing, a nutrition coach, and I know a business coach who said that, like, I have to record my sessions because I end up finding the nuggets just as I'm talking.
Yes, that's so true. I bet that you as a listener have found that true too. I know somebody told me once, pay attention to your blurts. I go, my blurts? They go, yeah, the things you just say that you blurt out. And this wasn't even humor, it was just in conversation. So sometimes that's your best wisdom. It's like the Bonita blurt. So if you notice the blurts, yeah, pay attention and work them in, both for your teaching, your training, your writing, and in your video marketing, your presentations. When I use the word presentations for humor, that can be anything from a talk to a marketing video on social media to a training course, anything. In fact, if you are sitting across the table from somebody talking to them about anything related to your business, in a sense, that's a presentation. I mean, it's not a large audience.
Yeah, like a sales call. You can
Yeah,
bring some humor into that.
on the phone. And I know if I have somebody on the other end who's laughing, I'll pay more attention. One time, a lawyer and I were walking down the street. We had a difficult case. He was from people in law on opposing sides who'll go out after a trial and, go to a bar or restaurant or whatever. But it's sometimes it's the relationships between the lawyers that can help resolve the conflict, and if you trust the other person. Now, I know he and I were walking down the sidewalk back to the courthouse and saw this nice oak antique dresser through the window of an antique store. I said, oh, that's a nice dresser, I'd love to have that. And he said, well, if we settle this case, I'll throw that in. I laughed. And
It's going to go in the official plea deal.
right. And,
Dresser.
I didn't get that dresser, but it changed the seriousness of it and made it less adversarial. And I actually liked him more and listened to him more because I thought, oh, because he had been presenting this, the suit, the suit, very serious face. And oh, this was real, that he actually had a sense of humor. Research shows if you say something in negotiation like, and I'll throw in my pet frog or I'll throw in my firstborn child, it can have that same effect.
Mm-hmm.
People laughing.
Those are some great tips. I did not know what to expect from chatting with you. And
Neither did I.
yes, you never know
I
what people can
never
listen
knew. I never know. Sometimes I hear what comes out of these puppets' mouths for the first time. Seems odd, but I hear it along with you. I mean,
to.
sometimes I don't know.
That's good. I love the being present and just seeing what comes up. I think there's some real value in that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. So Carolyn, how can you think of a way to use humor?
I'm
Well, your kids.
realizing the places that I'm already using it that I hadn't realized. I a lot of times on my initial consults with people, they ask about how I got started in marketing, how long I've been doing it, and I always tell this story about how I didn't find my place in life until much later. And I was really counting on motherhood being a place that would be really fulfilling. So I did all these like entry level jobs. I was like, I suck at careers. I don't know. I'm just not cut out for this. I'm just a entitled millennial brat, but I'm going to be great at motherhood. And then the punchline is like, motherhood is so hard. And I was not a natural at it. And I really thought, like, oh, sure, other people struggle with it, but I'm going to be so good at it.
But it sounds like you're normal,
Yeah.
Norma.
So people relate to that, right? I tell that story and people go, oh, yes, I remember when I discovered that motherhood was not as easy or natural as I thought it was going to be. Speaking of, hi.
Yeah. Well, at least I can put my kids back in the case. Oh no, you don't.
I do wish mine had an off switch. That would be very helpful.
And that you could put words into their mouth.
You really do. You do without meaning to, because of course they repeat back the things that you've been saying. And you're like, oh, don't say that in front of your grandparents, please.
That is so true. And all those things that you think, I'll never say that when I grow up, and then you hear yourself saying something your father or mother said. That
Yep.
is true. You very much are putting words in their mouth, which goes to the hecklers in your head talk that Ruby and I talked about. Yeah. And then you talk to yourself just like a ventriloquist does. Yeah, that's right. You say those things to yourself, those judges in your head. Oh, that's that
Mhm.
lawyer thing again. Oh, yeah. Well, they're inner judges.
And something else humorous that has stuck with me for my entire life is from the movie Duck Soup, Groucho
Oh, what's
Marx.
that?
So there's a part where he's been insulted by somebody and the person is supposed to come and apologize, and it's this big public affair. And before the other guy arrives, Groucho starts ruminating about, well, what if he refuses to shake my hand in front of this whole crowd? That would be so embarrassing. And he works himself up into such a state that by the time the guy comes and reaches out his hand to shake, Groucho shouts at him, how dare you not shake my hand, and storms off. And I looked at my mother, I was like 9 years old, and I was like, that's too ridiculous. That could never happen in real life. And she said, that happens every day. And I think of that so often when I see how we do talk ourselves into a story before seeing what's really going to happen.
Yeah, you make stuff up. Yeah, make stuff up. Hey, I see your show is called Increase Your Impact. Oh, yeah, right up there. You can do
Yep.
that with humor. Yeah. And it's free unless you hire her to help you. Oh, well.
Sounds like it's worth it. A lot of benefits there.
Okay, so I'm going to go get that humor journal too. Yes. Joy.funandfunnier.com.
All right. I'm going to go check it out too. It was wonderful having you on, Bonita, and all of your additional guests, Sammy and Ruth and Gramps. We were really glad to see you too.
Oh, I'm the best. Oh, well. It was good to see you, Carolyn.
All
And
right.
you two who are listening, go get that humor journal.
Okay, you heard it from the source.
Sammy,
Go get the go get the humor journal. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on, and we're gonna wrap this up. And the replay will be available on YouTube and as a podcast on Anchor.
on YouTube under what, Carolyn?
Um, Increase your impact.
Increase your impact. People could subscribe to that
Hmm.
YouTube channel. And I have a YouTube channel too, Bonita Joy Yoder. So you can
Okay.
subscribe to
Awesome.
both of those.
Yes. All right. We'll talk again soon.
Bye for now.